Street stylists, and some of you may already be familiar with Square, and some of you may realize that a lot of your downlines may not be familiar with Square, so you may decide this is for you, you may decide this is for them. This is intended to be for all. First question, how to use Square. What do I need to know? You need to know several things. You need to know how to create your Square account, download the point of sale app, create an item library, which is basically a list of all the strips. You need to be able to enter the pictures of strips that are in your item library. Obviously, you don't have to do this, but it sure makes it a lot easier when, especially since we have strips that have similar names. You can take a look at the picture and know if you have the right strip that you're selling. It's important to know how to keep track of taxes in Square. Hopefully all of you are paying your taxes, that you're paying the taxes that you've collected. You have the right business licenses. I don't want anybody getting in trouble. Also how to enter discounts. We have the buy 3 get 1 free discount, the buy 1 get 1 free discount. How do you keep track of that? How do you record sales in the point of sale application? Is there a way to capture customer follow-up information so you don't have to use FitFu, you don't have to use constant contact? Is there a way to capture information when you first get the information at the point of the sale or at the point of the lead? And yes, there is with Square. Again, if you decide this is not for you, that's fine. But this is what I know about it, and I love it. Also, there are tons of reports that you can run on the Square dashboard, and we're going to go through a few of those so that you can kind of see the power of this program. So Square has 2 integrated systems, kind of like we do on our back office, on our dashboard. We have the virtual office, and then we have the customer-facing site. And there are things that we can do on our customer-facing site that we can't do on our virtual office, and vice versa. There are 2 integrated systems that are part of Square. One is the Square dashboard. The Square dashboard is something that you download from www.squareup.com. The dashboard is the website home of your Square account, just like our virtual office is the website home of our Color Street account. So you can use the Square dashboard to set up your account and for everything but taking payments. So entering strips, setting tax rates, entering discounts, tracking inventory, etc. In fact, there are some kind of backdoor ways that you can do that using the point of sale, some of that using the point of sale app too, but for most of those things, it directs you back to the Square dashboard. Then integrated with the Square dashboard is the point of sale app, which is just what it sounds like. It's what you are using when you are out there in the field. Not so much maybe at a party, at a nail bar, where you're maybe using the back office to record the sales, but maybe when you're out at an event, or you see someone, you meet someone somewhere and they'd like to buy some nail strips from you, you want to keep track of that. You want to keep track of that, whether it's a credit card payment or whether it's a cash payment. If you're looking for an idea of whether you are making money or not, you have to keep track of all those things. It will be very, very refreshing and enlightening to know that, hey, I guess I really am making some money here. So you download the Square Point of Sale app from the Square dashboard or the App Store. You'll primarily use the Point of Sale app for taking payments on the go or at events, anywhere your clients don't have convenient shopping access to your website. So for this training, I'm going to be using a computer for showing examples of what's on the Square dashboard operations and an iPad for point of sale operations. It was kind of interesting for me to learn the iPad because I had mostly been using my iPhone, but my husband has an iPad and he's been helping me, so I wanted to learn the iPad, so I know both now pretty well. So the Square dashboard. for part number one of this two-part integrated system. The Square dashboard is, this is what the welcome screen looks like when you download Square. The first thing you'll need to do is to click on Account and Settings, and you can see there on the left in the dark gray bar, about the third from the bottom where it says Account and Settings. That's the first place you'll go to set up your free Square account. And Square is free. So, how to set up your account, part one. There's an arrow there that you'll see. We're in Account and Settings. So you click on that. Then starting with your personal information, go down the sections under the account and complete all the information that's requested. The business name that you enter here will appear on your receipts, so think carefully about what you put there. As you can see, I put my website there. That's what that's what I want people to know, because that's my landing site that takes people right to Color Street. For some of you, that might be colorstreet.com, your name or your business name, kind of a thing. When you come to get free processing, you want to set up your ability to do two things: to offer free credit card processing fees to others, and you can even do this to people you sell to. As we know, vendors are can be some of our best customers. At vendor events, you have folks who are already in direct sales. A lot of those folks may be interested in what we have. So you can offer credit card processing fees, free credit card processing fees to them, and earn a matching amount for yourself. You can immediately save $1,000 in credit card processing fees by contacting your sponsor. That would be the first place you would go. Or you can go to www.squareup.com/I/CS nails to go. So how to set up your account, part one. I think it's part one, unless I think I have to escape and go back a slide. Try to put this down. Okay. Where am I? Hello, how to set up an account. Part one. So click on Account and Settings, and you can again see where that is in the gray left-hand side bar of the website. The screen that you see right there will appear. Starting with your personal information. Oh, I did that one. Okay, so you know how to do that already. Then continue on to enter the information required under Business in Account and Settings. Your location will automatically appear as the business name you already set up. So review Square's deposit options. It's my opinion that the free 1 to 2 day deposit option is just fine. Instant deposit must be linked to a debit card and costs an additional 1%. I haven't had the need for that. You know, the worst problem you're going to run into is a weekend or a holiday, but I've never felt it was worth it to pay an additional 1% to have instant, I mean, literally instant deposit to a debit card.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. It's really quick.
Yeah.
And do you want to expand your screen again?
Oh, I do. So I don't recommend that, but if you choose that, that's totally fine. The next business day for a typical deposit depends on the time your business closes. The default in Square is 6 p.m. What?
You crack me up.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty cracked. Okay, so if you make your closing time later, and I played with this, you know, I've tried to do everything wrong at least once. If you make your closing time later, let's say your event is running till 9 o'clock. Well, your closing time is later. But if you make your closing time later, your next business day will change to the day after your actual next time it's morning. Okay. So finally, then when you've completed this information, scroll down to receipts and set up the way you want your receipts to look. So it's going to have you give a bunch of information about your business, and then it's going to ask you, how do you want your receipts to look? And it'll give you some options there. You can put some wording in there. You can put a picture in there, lots of different things. The next thing that you're going to want to do is to order a mag stripe reader of some sort. And you can do that on account settings. You click on Square Accessories and order a credit card reader. The mag stripe readers are free. So what I do is keep more than one on hand in case the primary reader goes bad. I haven't had that happen, but I've heard stories of that happening. So I have about 4 of them. If you need a Square mag stripe reader right away, you can purchase one from Walmart, Amazon, or other retailers. Definitely order your free one though too. And you can order free ones as often as you want, but only one at a time, unfortunately. But I mean, you can call them, you know, every 2 days and get another one if you want to. They're really good about that. The Square reader for both chip reading and magnetic swiping is currently available. This is something new. It's available for $35, and that's what you're looking at up in the right-hand corner. That is a Square reader for chip and mag stripe. I have ordered that. I'm on the bubble about how well it works. Trying to get used to it. Let's put it that way.
They have the bigger ones too that
Yes, they do. They
are
do.
chip readers. And just as a side note, sorry, Ann, because my husband and I run vendor event business, we've looked into a lot of this stuff, and when at all possible, it really is good to have a chip reader, because if you have a customer that says something bad about your claim and basically says they want their money back from their bank, and they have a chip on their credit card and you swiped instead of did the chip reader, they automatically win it's not called a debate. What is it called? Anybody know what I'm talking about?
A
dispute.
Benefit of the doubt to the customer.
Yes, thank you. The benefit of the doubt to the customer. Thank you, Brittany. So if there's a dispute about something about the order and the customer has a chip reader on their credit card and you swiped it and didn't use the chip reader, then you could be out all of that money. Now, I haven't heard of that happening, but more than once in the last couple of years when that became a law. But just so we're sharing the info.
Yes, thank you very much, Kelly.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Square markets lots of other devices as well. I think what's important is that you read the pros of these other devices. The chip reader is definitely more secure than the magnetic swiper. This is just the next step up. The $35 is just the next step up from the magnetic striper because it includes a chip as well. But you can spend $400 on a Square register. It's important for you to read the pros of all the devices that Square offers, and you can do that online and do your own cost-benefit analysis to decide what's best for you and your business and the type of events that you work. So what's next? You've created your Square account, you've got your card reader. Probably the next best thing to do is to download the point of sale app. That's pretty easy to do. It directs, as you're going through setting up your Square account, you're directed to set up your point of sale. You download the point of sale app on the devices that you'll be using to take payments with. So maybe you have a couple of things. Maybe you have a phone, and in our case, maybe you have a phone and a tablet, and you're going to make it available. We have a tablet because if I'm working an event and my husband Bob is with me, I'll put on samples and sell, and he'll stand in the background and flirt with the ladies and take their money. So we have both my phone and his tablet. So the key thing about that is you want to have your item library, and you want that to populate together with the dashboard in the next step. So you want your item library on all the devices that you'll be taking a payment with. So as far as the POS app goes, again, that's the second part of the integrated system. You've got the website and you've got the point of sale app, and you just download that POS app like any other and sign into your Square account. The Square account is a single account. They're not two different accounts. It's a single account. All right, so now I'm going to assume that you've just gotten in and you've followed the bouncing ball directions of how to download the POS app. It's very, very simple. Then I want to direct your attention back to the Square dashboard, which, you know, on an iPad you can go to. It's going to be a www. You can see it up in the corner. Actually, it's just https squareup.com dashboard. That's where you're going to be. That's your home site. That's like our virtual office. So exit the POS app and go back to your Square dashboard homepage. Find the support center, and you can see it circled there at the bottom of the page. It is always the first place you should go to get answers to questions, and it's where we'll go next. I want you to just kind of see it and get a little bit familiar with it, because I mean, there's so much in here that it's really kind of hard to wrap your head around it at first. But this is what the support center looks like. You can see they have a whole bunch of articles on the point of sale, on different hardware items that you can purchase, on the basics of Square, and some troubleshooting. You could make a PhD, I think, out of learning Square, and with all of the materials they have out there, the teaching materials they have. But this is what it looks like. I haven't had a whole lot of luck with have a question, start by searching here. I think they're still kind of working on that. I do have a lot of luck by just Googling what I want to find out, and I get a lot of information that way. But after you've set up your Square website and you've downloaded your point of sale app, you should create an item library. And the item library is a list of your products. And in our case, the product is the list of nail strip designs. The nice thing about Square is that the information you enter when you set up your account on the website dashboard will also populate your point of sale app. So those two things are integrated. And vice versa, the transactions you make on your point of sale app will populate your dashboard for reporting purposes. So in this training, as I think I've mentioned, I will be demonstrating Square on an iPad tablet. I'll also be using, I think made some things from my computer. If you plan to create your item library using a cell phone or an Android, you can take a look at the Create Items tutorial for your particular device in the point of sale category in the support center. See where I have it squared? I have a little square around it up there to the left. The process is going to be pretty much the same, but what you see may look a little different. So don't be freaked out if what you see in this tutorial is a little different than what you see on your device, because it's basically the same process. So when you click on that part of the create items, that part of the tutorials, here's what the create items section looks like. And that's in the point of sale category of the support center on the dashboard. So you can see there's lots of other tutorials in the dashboard support center. How to create items on mobile. How about tablet? How about on your Square dashboard? How to create and manage your tax settings. There's a whole bunch of things there. The thing about it that's going to be nice for this tutorial is I've created this to be strictly focused on stylists, as opposed to here's what you would do if you had a restaurant, or here's what you would do if you had an auto parts store, or whatever. Because Square is designed to be used for any of those things. And I'm focusing on strictly what it is in terms of being a stylist. So in terms of uploading your product, your categories, your your items, we'll call them. You can create one item at a time, or you can bulk download the entire item library, which is what I recommend. For stylists new to Square, it's easiest to download the entire item library from the Nailionaire National Team Facebook site under Files. So, how to locate the Color Street item library? I'm assuming that most of you probably know this already, but for new folks, to find the Color Street item library, go to the Nailionaire National Team Facebook page under Files, and you can see I have files illustrated on the in the graphic above. The item library post is, and it must be, in the form of an Excel spreadsheet. So the most recently posted Color Street item library is named below. You can see it above, and you can see it below in the peach color. It was uploaded on December 13th of 2018. It is the most recent one out there. But my assumption is that it will continue to change and be updated as we go along. So you should upload the most recent catalog. So once you've downloaded the most recently posted item library, you'll be able to import it into Square, and we're going to do that next. You want to keep your library up to date by making one-at-a-time additions as new strips are introduced. So the above catalog is pretty up to date. The only thing I think it doesn't have is Valentine's. I checked, and it does have the sports overlays in there, but it doesn't have Valentine's. So I'm sure a new one will be posted soon. So here's what the item library is going to look like when you download it. So you're going to look at that and go, what the heck? This is just a small section of what the Excel spreadsheet item library looks like. As you can see from looking at the header row, the spreadsheet contains a lot of the data that you'll need to begin taking point of sale payments. The major things that are missing are sales tax and discounts, but we're going to get to those. Don't worry about the variation name. It's going to be regular for every item, and there's a reason for that. So you can see there's the name of the item, the category of the item, the SKU, and the price of the item. That's what's important. Now, back to the dashboard to import the item library. After you've downloaded the Excel file item library from Nailionaires to your computer, click on the Items menu in the Square dashboard in the gray at the left and select Item Library. Wish I had a little pointer. This I can't use my pointer when I'm in the play mode. And select Item Library from the section listed along the top of the Items dashboard. It's underlined in blue. So you've got items in white on the left in gray, and up at the very top along the top going horizontally, the first thing says Item Library. And you select that, and then your whole item library will show up. Next, select the light blue Actions button. You'll see that there's a drop-down arrow on the right, and choose Import Library from the drop-down list. And then, there you go. Your item library will be loaded into your Square account. And when it's loaded into your Square account, as I said, these two things, the Square dashboard and the point of sale app, are, they talk to each other. This is an integrated system. So that's why you want to download your point of sale app before you import your item library. First your dashboard, then your point of sale app, then your item library. So you can add items one at a time. And once you've downloaded your Square item library, not your Square, your Color Street item library for the first time, you probably will start adding items one at a time. To keep your item library up to date as new items are added by Color Street, you can add new items real easily one at a time. To do this, select Create an Item from the Items menu of your dashboard. You can see the blue button at the top right, and that would be in the previous screenshot. The Create an Item Detail screen shown above then will pop up. Enter the item name and category, whether it's a solid, glitter, nail art, French, whatever. I prefer to keep the categories simple and in alignment with our prices. I know that now we are getting, again, this is going to be an opinion thing. We're getting nail art or glitter nail art, and we're getting glitter dipped, and we're getting all kinds of different things. But I prefer to kind of keep things simple and in line with the prices, so that when it comes to running reports and determining how much money I've made, that's kind of what I care about. You know, it's important to break it out to the extent that you get the information that you want to know, also what you're going to need to order if you do events and you need to carry some inventory on hand. So again, that's pretty much up to you. How I like to keep it simple. You might want it more extensively broken out. Okay, so notice there's a gray square box with the word edit under it to the right of the Create an Item screen. This is for the item image. Item images, unfortunately, do not come across in the item library import. You have to add them one at a time in the item detail screen, as far as I know. Adding them is optional, but I'll tell you, it really helps you keep from selecting the wrong strip when you're checking out a customer. And this can easily happen, especially when we get more and more designs with similar names. It's a good kind of a, wait a minute, does that look right to me? Kind of a double check. So where to find item images? I think this is probably the easiest way to do it, although there are other places to find them. Go to your Color Street shopping page, and this is on your public-facing site, your My Color Street / your number or your business name or your landing site, whatever. Temporarily add the design you want an image of for Square to your Color Street shopping cart. So down there at the bottom left, you want that little tiny thumbnail. That's what we're going for. So you'll go to the shopping page where it shows you the whole hand full of nails, and then you'll take a screenshot of the single nail strip that appears in your shopping cart after you've clicked on that, leaving, and then you're going to do a screenshot, and you want to leave some white around it. If you take it up too close, it'll fill up that little gray box in your square, and it'll be kind of hard to see. So leave some white around it and see your computer's instructions for capturing only part of the screen in a screenshot. It's usually pretty easy. And then name and save the image to a file on your computer where you keep pictures of all the nail strip designs. I do that. That's my recommendation. And I can use them in whatever way I need to, whenever I need to do that. As an alternative, you can find images of the strips in the files section of graphics for nail polish strips by Norma Clark in the Facebook group. And you might have to do that because sometimes when we are out of stock on an item, when it says out of stock on the nails on hands, you can't get to that little single thumbnail. So whenever I see a new design come out, I hurry and get my little thumbnails out of there quickly so that I can have them in my Square. I can have that graphic in Square. So once you've taken a screenshot of that graphic from the Nailionaire's page, go back to Square and click on the blue edit under the gray box there in Square when you're on the item detail screen. So the reason they call it an item detail is you're looking at a particular strip design and you're attributing details to it. And one of the details is the picture. So you're going to hit edit under the gray box to the right in the create an item detail screen. A pop-up will appear for you to select the screenshot image you saved to your computer. And then this image will appear in the gray box on your dashboard and in the item library on your point of sale app. So it's just like, what is it? It's simple. You just click on it and bingo, it shows up just like you're adding a photo to Facebook. Real simple. So don't forget then to remove the nail strip from your temporary Color Street shopping cart after saving the screenshot to your computer, if that's where you got the image, unless you're intending to buy that one. Okay, and then ta-da, done. Unfortunately, it's not possible to bulk import images along with your item library. I think I mentioned that before. You do have to add the images one at a time in the item detail screen. You can screenshot each of the images and save them to your computer, and that's what I recommend. The business name you chose in your account settings when you opened your Square account will automatically show up in the locations section. And don't worry about locations. It's just going to automatically show up, and we'll get to taxes shortly. So when you are, what you'll notice in the item detail screen is you'll notice that a lot of the information from the catalog came over in your import. And it's going to have filled in the name, it's going to have filled in the category, it's going to have filled in the price, all right? There are a couple of things that it is not going to have filled in. It's not going to have filled in it's going to fill in a location, and that's going to be your business name. Here you see I have 2 locations. That's because I have one location I call Color Street and one location I call Ann's Nails to Go. So it's also going to have the tax rate, and that's a place that you can double check to make sure that you have the right tax rate. Did I touch the wrong thing again? Did I get out?
Yep, there you go. Just hit escape.
Okay. So you can also add items. So this is just part 2 of that. Scroll down further in Square. That'll be on that same item detail screen. And you'll see where it's going to have you ask for price and inventory. Price is already there. That will have come over in your import. SKU is already there. That will have come over in your import. Before you leave that screen, you have added the picture. Be sure to hit save. Now, if you decide to keep your inventory in Square, which I do, and it is easy, it's as simple as counting the stock you have and clicking on the blue none. See where it says stock? And then to the right of that, it says none. You simply click on that none next to stock, and a pop-up will appear. And I'll show you what that looks like. There's the pop-up, and there's at Color Street there. When you click on the blue none next to stock, this is the screen that'll appear. So you first toggle on the tracking button. Anytime you see the blue, it's toggled on. Then click on the drop down for select reason. So it's going to ask you, why are you giving me a different number? Your choices will include stock received and inventory recount, among other things. And it's been my experience that that's what you usually use. If you select inventory recount, the number of items you enter in current stock will appear exactly as you enter them. If you select stock received after your initial stock entry, the number of current stock items you enter will be added to the number you already have. And you'll see to the right of the grayed out 0, but to the left of tracking, 3 plus 2. It'll kind of do an additive kind of a thing for you. If you toggle on the low stock alert button, as I have done above, Square will send you regular email reports of low stock items, and you can tell Square how often you want to get a report of low stock. And you have the option of setting the low stock reporting threshold to whatever number you choose. So say you have a design that you just don't care for at all, and you don't care if you run out, you're not buying any, and you don't care if you ever run out, or you've had something that you've had a heck of a time getting rid of, and 0 would be, great. On the other hand, you have items that sell and sell and sell, and you don't want to be have less than 4 in inventory. Again, these are business decisions that you have to make based on the type of business that you are running. If you are doing nail bars, stock is not going to be as much of a deal for you. And maybe stock isn't something you're going to want to concern yourself with. If you're doing events, if you're doing big events, stock is something you're going to be desperately concerned about. Okay, so if you're doing inventory and you're keeping inventory, you're going to want to create an inventory report. I mean, it's lovely if it's in the computer, but you want to know, you need something you can work with. So you can download an inventory report by clicking on Actions. See where it says Actions up there in the light blue next to Create an Item. There's a little drop-down bar. You click on that in the item library and select Export Library. See, that's the second one down. It's the one below Import Library, and Import Library is where you were when you first brought the catalog in from the Nailionaire National page. After the download, you can view your inventory in a spreadsheet format. So I'm going to tell you, when you bring that spreadsheet format over, it's going to be full of all kinds of information. I mean these crazy stuff that you don't even care about. It has to do with Square identifiers. So you'll probably delete some unnecessary columns so that you can read your report more easily, and that's fine. Deleting what you've downloaded or what you've exported is not going to change anything in Square. You've exported it. You can play with it. You can, make it anything you want to be. Make it serve any purpose you want to serve. So now let's get to something that's really, really important, and that's how to set up tax rates. So Color Street, as you know, pays the sales taxes for the locality to which their strips are shipped. So if you live in Queen Creek, you pay 1 sales tax. If you live in Gilbert, like I do, you pay another sales tax. Color Street pays the tax rate to the locality where the ships are stripped. The strips are shipped. In some cases, that's where you live. So if you only sell in your own locality, your taxes are covered completely. So see, then that's fine. But if you sell in another locality, you, not Color Street, are responsible for meeting the tax requirements of that locality. And business licenses may also be required, so you better check. I tell you this because I sell in a lot of different localities with a lot of different sales tax rates. What you see above, you see a list up there. That's just a very small part of the list. But I want you to know how to create a tax rate because you likely sell to places. Now, this doesn't matter if a customer you're selling to lives elsewhere. It matters where you're doing the selling, where you have a booth set up, where you're holding the party. If you are making a sale, just like Color Street would charge them tax according to their address, if you are doing a party at someone's house, you really need to charge the tax rate of that locality. So to create a tax rate, click on Create a Tax in the Taxes section of Items. And that's kind of hidden behind the pop-up above, but I wanted you to see the pop-up. And when the pop-up comes, so basically it just says Create a Tax. It's pretty intuitive. Enter the name of the locality and the full sales tax rate. Now, when I say that, I mean that the city may have a tax, there's a state tax, the county may have a tax. So there are several taxes that may play in. There may be a transportation tax added on. You really never know. Also, you want to be sure to check on the tax rate right before the party or event, because these tax rates can change at any time, and you are responsible for the excess, for the difference in tax. And in some states, you're still responsible for the whole amount of tax, even if you paid the full tax rate for where you got it. In some states, it's not just the difference. So this tax thing is something that you probably, I'm not an accountant. It's something that you'd probably want to discuss with but I know enough about it to know what to be worried about. So that's all I'm telling you. Talk to your accountant about it. Be sure anyway that Enable Tax, you see where that's blue is toggled on there. Be sure Enable Tax is toggled on, and Add Tax to Item Price. You always want to, well, you have a choice. You can add tax to the item price, or you can have the tax already included in the item. I add the tax to the item price. So that's why I say be sure that that is toggled on and selected below the name of the locality, unless you intend to pay the sales taxes out of your own pocket, or charge the customer little shipping and handling and use that to pay the taxes. But you're going to be responsible for the tax amount for that locality in whatever way they say you are. So finally, be sure to click on Save at the bottom of the screen. I'm not sure you can see that there, but there is a Save at the bottom of the screen. So always check whatever screen you're on in Square to see if there's a save. That's why when I'm in the Square dashboard, I kind of like to do a lot of my setup and a lot of my business operations, my reporting, and the Square dashboard, because my phone and my iPad are just too small. I want to see the whole shebang. You can now see the Create a Tax button I was talking about that was covered by the pop-up in the screen before. It's at the top right of the image on the left there. After you've created a tax, like we saw on the previous slide, you're going to have to do a second thing. You've created a tax, but you haven't applied it to anything. So since Square is used for many different types of businesses, it doesn't know if you want to apply it to all items or just certain items or what. So you have to go into Apply Items. You do the Apply Items button on the far right of each saved tax rate. You see that there, but you're only going to pick one. And then click Apply Items, and then go over to the next graphic there on the right, because that's going to pop up when you see Apply Items. And now you see all the items listed. That's just a truncated group of them from the A's. And you're going to select all, because the tax rate applies to everything that we sell. Then select on the blue button that's down at the bottom, Apply to Items. Okay. If you've set up a tax rate for more than one locality, go to each of the localities where you aren't selling. I just do this to be safe, and click on Select None. I tell you, I get a little bit paranoid about this. And that's above right at the top. See where it says Select None? I just kind of go back and make sure because I don't want to get into a selling situation and have the sale pop up and there's, the wrong sales tax rate, or several different sales tax rates. I just want the sales tax rate that I need to charge on there. I want it included in the sale. I don't want there to be any confusion when I'm there with the customer. So that's one way you can be sure that you have only one tax rate and it's the right tax rate selected. So if you're going to be selling in more than one locality on any given day, that happened to me today, remember to change the tax rate and apply it to your, two things. Enable the tax rate. Number two, apply it to your items before selling in the next locality. So let's use an example to give you, this would be a real life example. So let's say you forgot to change the tax rate, or you're going from one place to another, you don't have time to access your computer. Go to settings in the point of sale app. You can do it there too. So typically I would do it on my computer if I was going to be doing, sales in Gilbert and I knew I didn't have anything coming up. But the way it's been going for me lately, I'm doing sales all over town, so I have to be really careful. Let's say the last place you made a sale was Apache Junction, Arizona. There is a place such as Apache Junction. But the next sale you're going to be making is in Mesa, Arizona. And you're taking product there and you're selling it there. So here's what your Apache Junction tax settings will look like in the point of sale app under settings. Now remember, we're in the point of sale app here. This is the one that you have on your device, your iPad, your iPhone, your Android, whatever. The setting, to get to the setting, it's in the gray sidebar, and you click on a 3-bar icon and choose taxes from the setting menu, and this is what shows up. So notice that the tax for Apache Junction is enabled. Anytime that toggle is on, it's blue. And two things, it's enabled and it's applied to all items. So you need to both disable, so we're going to Mesa now. We've made that sale. So we need to both disable the Apache Junction tax rate and exempt all items from it. So the first time I saw exempt all, I freaked. I'm like, what's going to happen? I don't mean to exempt all items forever and always, but that's not the case. Don't worry. It's not irreversible. It's kind of a strange way to say it, but it's just a way of turning it off. It's toggling it off. So you can see that in number 1, the toggle is no longer blue, and in number 2, none of the items are toggled on. There's no blue there. So exempt all has been selected. So now you're going to go to Mesa and make a sale in Mesa. So you say you had an event in the morning in Apache Junction and an event in the afternoon in Mesa, or you had a party in Apache Junction in the morning and you have a party in Mesa in the afternoon. So you'll need to do the reverse before you go to your Mesa event or your Mesa party. You'll need to, number 1, enable the Mesa tax rate, and number 2, apply it to all items. And again, this is not irreversible. It's how you make it kind of go or no go. Under number 1 there in the graphic, you can see that the toggle is on now. It's showing blue. And then I have selected tax all items, and that automatically turned everything blue. It turned the Mesa, Arizona tax rate on for every item. Okay. So you might have some questions about taxes. We're going to move on to how to create discounts. So there's lots of ways to do this too. To set up a discount, go to the Create a Discount button in the discount section of the item library. And I think you can see that there. It's the blue underlined discounts along the top. You can create as few or as many discounts as you want. My recommendation is that you keep it as simple as possible so you don't spend too much time searching for the right discount to give when you make a sale. So above you see my discounts. In fact, I have changed my discounts. I have taken out a couple. I have taken out last call because it was redundant with what I was doing above. I guess that's the only one I've taken out. And variable for me is usually $1. A voucher is usually a variable amount, so I leave that in. But last call for me was either a 10% discount, 15%, and in rare cases a 20% discount. But technically you can put whatever discounts you want. You can set up the item discounts and apply those to your items in the create discount section there under your item library. Again, keep it as simple as you can. As you can see, I've listed one free strip first. Since that's the thing I use most often, I use it in the buy three, get one, and I use it in the buy one, get one sales. So all I have to do when I get to that part in the point of sale app is toggle on one free. Very simple. In my, I'm going to show you how in my reporting it tells me exactly the name of the strip, the category of the strip, how I can sort by what all that is. I can tell how many glitters, how many nail art, how many solids, how many French, whatever. Just in the sorting, if I use that concept of the one free strip. In any event, you can set up your discounts to be either percentage reductions or dollar reductions. The only dollar reduction that I am currently using is voucher, and that would be if I gave somebody a voucher for, you know, here's $3 or here's $5 for your next purchase or something like that. Okay. This is the screen that will appear then when you select create a discount. So simply name your discount, and you could see from before what I named mine. And oh, I wanted to mention from before, to kind of simplify, let me get that. To simplify things, was running into how much do I charge people for wholesale because I need to charge them, you know, somebody who needs a strip to borrow from me or to buy from me. Well, if you just set up a discount that's 25% off in wholesale, and you have it set where you're going to include tax in your item price, voila, you've got the right tax and you've got the right wholesale, and hopefully you've got it on your phone, which is the device. You can make a sale anywhere. And so you can make a sale to another stylist doing it that way. Okay. So this is the screen that's going to appear when you select create a discount. Then name your discount and toggle whether you want it to be a percentage or a dollar amount. As you could see from before, I use mainly percentage amounts if I use anything at all. The only thing that I've ever used in the past is a voucher for a certain amount of money. So that's like a coupon, and that would be a dollar amount. But it is toggled on if it is in black above. So then so you can see black above is toggled on, it's percent. You can see where it says amount, it says 0%. So you enter in the amount. So you've named it, you've given it an amount, and it's going to show up the location that you named your business unless you have more than one location. When you view or print out a spreadsheet report of your sales, you'll see the discount amount as well as the strip name and category, along with a bunch of other details. You can then sort and analyze to your heart's content. So you can, there's so much that you can analyze from the reporting. I could probably do a separate thing on reporting, but let's move on here. I'll cover as much as I can. Here's how to view a report of your sales. For a detailed report of your sales for any period, 1 day to 1 year. So, you know, yes, I have information in my square that I have, that I can pull up anything I want for the year 2018. And it's so easy. It integrates so well with Patty Kohlhauer's spreadsheet. Go to the sales section in the gray left-hand menu of we're back on your dashboard on the main menu. Then go to the reports section along at the top of the sales page. So we're in sales, and then you can see on the top where it says reports. And then click on item sales below the word reports at the top. So you see reports is underlined in blue, and then I've gone down and blue is highlighted, or item sales is now highlighted in blue. Next, choose your reporting period by selecting a date or a date range in the box between the arrows. And that is, you see where it says sales summary and sales summary right under the words reports. It says 12/1/2018. You can make that say 12/1/2018 to 12/31/2018. Or no, that would be for a monthly. You can make a monthly, you can make it a year, you can make it a day, you can do whatever you want. You can get your reports for any period of time you're interested in.
And it's really cool to kind of see what you've sold the most of, or what even times of day you sell more than others. It's, yeah, you could have a heyday in those reports.
Oh, you could make yourself crazy. You could. What kind of color would be just so thrilled with this? Is that a red? The accounting aspect of this?
Yes. No, it's a green. A green.
Green.
The
Okay.
green people would be all over. Yeah. If you've done your personality color test, the green
Yeah.
people.
You'd be all
Yeah,
over.
would be all over these reports.
So I think I have a lot of green in me because I'm all over these reports. Okay. So, right. So yeah, you can get all kinds of information there. Next, choose your reporting period by selecting the date, lastly, go to the export drop down on the right side of the screen. You can see where it's export in a blue box. Go to the right side of the screen and go to export, and then select detail CSV for a download of the report. And I'll show you what that's going to look like. It's more information than you really even are going to want. So here's what the detail CSV will look like. I've got to tell you, I've deleted more than a few columns to make it easier to see the important things. Square puts a whole bunch of things in there, and I think part of the reason they do that, part of it is related to the credit card, part of it is related to if there's ever a dispute, but Square has a whole lot of information about that transaction. But it's not pertinent to me when I'm doing, when I'm doing my analysis of, how many I've sold, how much discount I've given, or what. I want to just see what's important. So as you can see by looking at the first 4 rows, I made a sale at 14:57:19, which is about 2:57 p.m. So that's the military time there. And I kind of like looking at the time, because that way that was one sale. That sale was rung up at this time. And that sale included 2 nail art designs and a glitter nail art for $13 each. And I gave away a free glitter valued as $12 as part of the buy 3, get 1 sale. So you can see under discounts, see the minus $12 for one only in Vegas. See where it says only in Vegas, and it shows a $12 sale, but then minus $12. That's where it said 1 free. Okay, so I can turn that report upside down and sideways through sorting to see, do I want to run it by a design name? Do I want to run it by category? How do I want to run that to see what's going on? Do I want to see, am I giving away more glitters? Am I giving away more solids? You know, I can get an idea over time too. Anyway, I can get an idea over time, or I can look at the micro view, which says, you know, in this particular sale, I gave away one free glitter valued at $12 as part of that buy three, get one sale. Likewise, the sale made below it at $14.43.56 consisted of 2 nail arts and 2 glitter nail arts. So I gave away a glitter nail art valued as at $13 as part of a buy three, get one sale. It's also a double check on yourself, or if you're working with others, to make sure that you gave away the right strip. I have had a situation where that didn't happen, and that can throw your numbers off something awful. So it's good to know which items were part of which sale, and the time will tell you that. So then at the bottom of the spreadsheet, I can total all my columns and see my gross sales before discounts, my total discounts, my total net sales after discounts, and the total tax charged. If I want, I can sort by category and run subtotals for each to see how well each category is selling as a percent of my total sales, or for any date or date range. So this helps me decide how many of each category to reorder too. So these are kind of the analytics that help you have us run a smarter business. So we've covered a lot of ground so far. We've talked about creating your Square account, talked about downloading your point of sale app, talked about creating your item library, which is the list of all your strips, and entering the item images. We've talked about entering your taxes. We've talked about entering discounts. We've talked about running sales reports, and there's literally a zillion of those that you can run. So we still need to know how to do just a few more things. We need to know how to record the sales in the point of sale app, because we're getting all this background information. We haven't made a sale yet. We need to capture customer follow-up information in the point of sale app, because that's one of the neatest things about Square, I think. And we need to run reports from the Square dashboard. So let's just take a real deep breath. Aren't they cute? See that little one down on the right? He's our Christmas puppy. His name is Cooper.
Cooper's cute.
Cooper's cute. That's when Cooper weighed a little over 4 pounds. He's 7 pounds, 2 ounces now, but he's still cute. Anyhow, moving on to recording sales in the Square point of sale app. Now this is going to be demonstrated on an iPad. For the most part, where I've been before has been mostly on my computer, on my laptop, unless I've said differently. So this is what your point of sale app looks like when you first open it on an iPad. And that's because the circled number 1. So it's like, what do I do with this? See the circled number 1 down at the bottom there? It looks like that because that's what's selected. I don't use that. Select the 3-bar icon on the left to get the settings and checkout screens, because you want to set up your point of sale app. If you've already set up your point of sale app, you can simply select the list icon to the right of the circled number 1. See where it's hard to see, but there's little like dots with a line next to it. And that's kind of in the middle. Okay. So here's what the point of sale app then looks like when you select the 3-bar icon that I was telling you to select previously. The item library appears on the right in the white at the category level if you've entered everything we've discussed so far, okay? You can see I've got French glitter. I also added bundle because at Christmas time I did bundle some things together. And I wanted to have a category to know how well my bundles did. To check out customers, you must first set up the point of sale app. And to do this, go to settings in the gray sidebar on the left of the screen. If the gray sidebar isn't visible, you can get to settings always by tapping on the 3 horizontal lines icon at the bottom. That's always going to bring you up the list of what is on the left-hand menu. So to set up the point of sale app, you have the following categories from the setup menu that you have to deal with. You have to deal with the types of payments you're going to take, the taxes, whether you're going to have customers sign, to what extent they're going to sign and how you're going to work your receipts. Do you want to do cash management? Do you want to have a cash drawer that you're going to manage? Do you want to take payments offline as well as online? So if you're somewhere where you don't have internet access, do you want to take the chance and go offline because as Kelly was saying earlier, it is much less safe if you're in offline mode, but you have to kind of make a decision for yourself. You want to make a decision. Am I still going to make some sales or am I dead in the water? Want to set up customer management and you want to set up email collection. All of that is available. So let's take a look. So payment types, several different payment types. So in the white graphic there, you can see what they are. Mine didn't show up exactly that way, and they are drag and droppable, so you can put them in whatever order you want. So a swipe or chip credit or debit card entry is the default. So you won't see anything about that. That was one of the things that surprised me at first. I thought I would see, swipe or chip or something first, but there's nothing there. So it assumes that you're going to take credit or debit. So you just do it. You don't have to select a form of other payment when you're just swiping or reading a chip card. So on my on my iPad, the check, as in actually writing a check, does anybody do that anymore? That payment type was listed under more payment types. You see that below? But just in case anybody wrote me a check, I didn't want it down there. It wasn't showing up on my screen. I'd have to go to a second screen and I'd forget to do that. So I moved it up. I just dragged it and dropped it up under cash there. I try to avoid manual credit card entry because it's more expensive. Square charges you more if you're typing in the numbers. Why? There's much more possibility for there to be an error. There's much more possibility for the card to be fraudulent. So if you can help it at all, I will make a delivery to a customer's house if I don't have payment rather than take manual credit card entry. That's just me. That's just my preference. You can do it whatever way you feel safe. But I did move the check payment type up, and you might think about doing that. So you can click and drag, and that's no big deal. And as you can see, I am willing to take all kinds of payment. Sometimes when I have a repeat customer, their card is already in Square. Square already recognizes their card. So that's great. It's got the collected customer information already. So of course I want to take that. And manual gift card entry, there's a couple of things about that. Square has their own gift cards, or you can have your own gift cards. So, you can take your pick there. So taxes. This is an area in the point of sale app where you can check to be sure. And I'm just like paranoid about checking to make sure I have the right tax rate enabled. But you can enable it here. Sometimes you just aren't with your computer and you've got your device and it's a point of sale kind of a thing that you're trying to make sure, gosh, am I in the right? I was in Apache Junction this morning. I'm in Mesa this afternoon. Did I change it? I can't remember. You can do this in the point of sale app as well. So let's see. As you can see in this example, in this graphic, I know my next event is in Mesa, so I've selected to apply the Mesa tax rate to all my items in the Square dashboard. And this screen confirms that. Everything else is off. Okay. Now, signature for a receipt. So signatures are automatically not collected for non-credit or debit transactions. So if you've got a cash sale, you've got a check sale, that's automatically not going to collect a signature. So as you can see, I've selected always collect signatures for credit and debit payments. So a credit card or a debit card. I've also selected customer signs on iPad. That's what I'm using mostly. Square, this is going to surprise you maybe, Square doesn't actually require a signature for chip transactions. But so far, I didn't see a place for there to be a selection listed on Square to choose for that. So you don't have to have a signature for chip transactions. I just feel if a person has to sign it, they feel a little bit more like they're responsible. So I don't mind taking the time for them to sign. So that's up to you once again. Cash management. So you should start out with a cash drawer. And I learned this from my husband, who is a retired banker, who is now a roadie and kind of a nail tech and a nail display person. If somebody has their fancy acrylics on,
he's very good at his job. Yes, he is.
Very good at his job. He can ring people. He can cash people out. He'll display things on his nails. Oh, it's just wonderful. But he taught me, as an ex-banker, he says, you gotta, you can't ignore how much cash you're taking in. You've got to count your starting cash. So I'm listing here since he's was a banker, this is what he says. And this is what I typically carry. I carry $65 in ones, $25 in fives, 50 cents in pennies, $1.50 in nickels, $3 in dimes, and $5 in quarters. Do you notice what I don't have in there? No tens. He says, I don't need tens. I need fives and I need ones. So there you go. You can carry whatever you want. That's just his opinion. I haven't run out of change, so I'm in pretty good shape. So you can set up an automatic email of your cash drawer activity too, if you want to, in cash management. And that's kind of nice. I carry $100 cash to an event. Don't mug me, please. I've had that $100 in there since I started. And I just, at the end of every event, I balance my cash drawer. So that's always a good habit to get into. And I don't carry more around than that 100. I deposit, that's part of what I made at the event. So you can set up, I noted, since he manages my cash drawer, I just send the email to him as the default recipient, which you certainly don't have to do that, but that's how come my husband's email address is as the default recipient there. He can count the cash. I'm perfectly happy. I told him, let's see, what was the book? It was, Get Over Your Damn Self. One of the things it says is you really have to engage your loved ones, the people who are around you who are important to me. And I realized, my husband's just kind of watching me do this stuff, and I need to make him my CFO. And so he's my CFO.
It's very smart. And even if you've got older kids, it's good for them to learn some of this money management too.
It is. This is an excellent way for kids to learn about money and business. I mean, selling, we are in business. We do have to be motivated, and that is key. But this is good stuff to know and good stuff to teach your kids. So here's the offline mode thing I was talking about. Sometimes you can't get reception on your mobile device. Try as you might. Square will still take a payment if you select Allow Offline Mode. And you can see that I have done that. Also, Square will let you decide what you want your per transaction limit to be. So that's your level of risk. So if you want to say, I want my per transaction limit to be $50, so nobody can get more than a buy three, get one free without being legitimate, you could do that. You have to decide what amount you're willing to risk if Square declines a card later when you're back online. And so that can happen. It has not happened to me, but I could be blessed. I don't know. I think I am actually, but customer management. You must set up Square so it prompts you to collect customer information if you want it to do so, and when you want it to do so. So I know some of you use other customer follow-up programs. I use Square Marketing, and I love it. And the reason I love it is I am able to collect information on my customers at the time of the sale. And that is a time, I don't have to rely on them to fill out a lead slip. I'd certainly love people who aren't buying to fill out a lead slip, but I want as much information as I can on the people that I know like my product. And I want to get it at the time that I make the sale. So you can set up Square to prompt you to collect customer information. I like to collect it when the customer hands me their payment. So I've selected collect information before checkout, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. I also direct Square to save cards to customer profiles. So if I have a customer come back that I've sold to before, it's going to show that this is a customer that I've had before, and it's going to capture that information, and it saves it securely too. You would not want that customer's credit card information. And again, that's a little bit about some of those columns you'll delete from the Square reports. It just looks like gibberish. You can't tell what it is. I can't see a customer's card information, but Square can tell what it is. So you can see on the graphic there, what I have checked. Email collection. Do you want to follow up with this customer? I definitely want to follow up with this customer. So you can, you've directed Square to prompt you when it's time to collect the customer information. When they hand me their credit card, that's the perfect time for me to ask for number one on the credit card. I already have their name. And so I can ask for their, if you're a person who collects phone numbers, that's the time to get phone numbers and email addresses. I tend to prefer email addresses, but that's the time to get it because quite frankly, in my experience, they think it has something to do with giving you their credit card. I have only had resistance when people are handing me cash. And Kelly told me about a good idea that she has. She tells people, well, I'd like to get your email address so I can send you a video of, an application video. And of course, another thing that you can tell people is this way you can send them a receipt. If you have no way to send them a receipt, you can't give them a receipt unless you've got something very expensive that prints out a printed receipt. So if you want Square to prompt you again after checkout, you can set that up too. This is just a fail-safe in case you forget to add the customer information before taking the payment. So I have a show email collection screen afterwards too, but I'm collecting it when I take their card or their cash. So here you are, ready to take your payment. And quite frankly, all of this setup may seem like a lot of work, and I've sure, talked you all to sleep, but it sure simplifies the process of taking payments from your customers. They just want to check out, they want the checkout process to be quick and easy. And you do too. You want to talk about the strips, but that doesn't mean that you don't want good customer information and you don't want good sales information. But this just makes it easy for you to get that stuff and spend your time making the sale. So let's quick go through the process of recording a sale and taking a payment. First, go back to the checkout screen. And the checkout screen is going to be, we were in the settings section of the point of sale menu. Now we're going to click on the 3-bar icon at the bottom left of the screen you're in and return to the main point of sale menu and select checkout. You see where it says checkout? We were down in settings, which is the second from the bottom. And when you're going to check out a customer, you want to be in the top where it says checkout. So the above screen then is what's going to appear, and it will be at the kind of the roll up, the highest level of categories. Choose all items, which is the 4th one down, and then your item library will appear. And voila, there it is. And that is where you're going to check out your customers. So the item library is on the left. This is from an iPad. On your phone, the items are not going to appear to the right, but on an iPad, the items will appear to the right. I can't speak to any other kind of tablet, but this is what I have. The item library is on the left. The sales summary is on the right under Add Customer. The items you select for the sale will appear in the sales summary there on the right. The total amount of the sale will appear at the bottom in the charge box. So you see where it says charge 0 now? When you put your items in, that will come up with the total amount of the sale. So how do we do this? You can select the customer's items one at a time, and it's so easy because you start typing the name of the strips being purchased at the top of the search bar. You see that magnifying glass icon there up at the top left, and I've typed in WYN. Square will fill in the rest of the item name once you've typed in enough letters for it to recognize one or more items in the library. So you might type in Holly and get all kinds of things. You might get Hollywood Kiss. You might get Hollywood Hills. You might get Hollyback Girl. It could be, that's where it's nice to have a picture, because then you just click on the item that you want, and that item will automatically go over to the sales summary side, which is the receipt side over there to the right. So, I got ahead of myself. So there are all the Hollies. In this example, Hollywood Hills is selected by clicking on it. You just click on the name or the picture in the second one down there. And then it just slides right over into the receipt under Wynwood on the right. This is what a typical buy 3 get 1 sale looks like. So all 4 items have been entered and appear in the sales summary on the right. Now this is how I do it. You may do it differently. I like to see the whole thing and be darn sure that I am giving the discount on the right item. The total charge appears at the bottom in the charge box, which is now blue. So you see it's $54.02, and you know it's not that. You know it's going to be more around $40 because that's kind of how they all are. So as you can see, the buy 3 get 1 discount still needs to be added. To do that, you click on one of the lowest priced strips. And in this case, it's going to be one of the $12 strips. So you've got two $13 and two $12 strips in that sale. And so let's click on all the Jingle Ladies. Okay, so I'm seeing my wholesale. I'm going to, not wholesale, but my entire sale. Click on all the Jingle Ladies and I'll make that my free one. So I've clicked on all the Jingle Ladies, and son of a gun, the item detail screen for all the Jingle Ladies pops up. And now all the setup we did starts to make sense. When you click on all the Jingle Ladies, the sales detail screen for that particular item pops up. All I do is toggle on the one free, which is 100% discount button, and that's going to automatically make that item free. While you're in the detail screen, make sure the tax rate being automatically applied is correct. You see it says Mesa, Arizona tax rate. Again, I checked that 15 ways to Sunday. You can also check quantities in the item detail screen. If you've made them, you can correct that. So say you accidentally clicked 2 of a particular item, and you're thinking, oh, how do I get that out of there? Well, just click on the item itself. It'll take you to the item detail screen, and then back out the item. If they didn't want 2 and they only wanted 1, you'll just hit minus and voila, it will just say 1. In addition, there's a space for notes to self. Now, in some catalogs that you might see, there are item descriptions. I have gone through the catalogs that I've downloaded. This is your preference. And I've taken out all of the descriptions. I know what these things look like. I don't need a description. What I want in those notes is there are some sales that I make that people are ordering against, and I'm giving them a buy 3 get 1 sale, but I don't have that strip yet. It's not here. I owe it to them when I get it. Maybe I figure it'll be here, tomorrow or the next day. Well, I need to make a note somewhere, and when I run my report, I need to know who that person was that I owe that to. This gives me that information. So that's what I use the notes screen for. All right. Oh, be sure to save before you exit. Look around all the time. Make sure there isn't a place that says save. What's the worst that can happen? You're going to have to enter it all over again. Okay. So now you see how the discount appears. So you see how we discounted all the Jingle Ladies. So see the tag next to all the Jingle Ladies? It shows you the item that we discounted, and it shows you the amount of the discount. So that is subtracted from the total. The tax is also adjusted, and we have a new total charge of $41.06. Also, if you use Square to track your inventory, the sold items will be subtracted from your stock once you've completed this transaction. Now, when I was first using Square, I was using variable items, and I had long discussions with Square, and they finally got it through to me that the only way that the stock will be reduced appropriately is if I did it this way. So that's the way I do it, because I'm doing my inventory in here too. So how do you collect customer info? I told you you could do it. I told you you could set up Square so that you could even tell Square when you want it to collect customer information. So I've told it I want to collect customer information at the time of the sale. So I've just told my customer that your total charge is going to be $41.06. She's handed me her credit card. This is I've told her the amount of the sale. It's shown in the blue box at the bottom of the right. She's handing me her payment, and I'm going to go up to the drop down. Do I need to go back? There's a drop down right above there. Can you see that? it's kind of covered by what I'm looking at. There's a
You can see
drop
it
down for
up,
add
right?
customer and clear items.
Yep,
So
we see it.
you see it? Okay. So add customer is right there. And that's where you can also clear items and start the sale over again. I mean, I've had customers who decided on a whole different set of strips. It's like, oh, forget it. I'm just starting over again. Or I goofed something up so irretrievably bad, I've had to clear items. So that's another place, that's where you can clear items. But this is where I add the customer information. And here's what that looks like. You get a pop-up. It says create customer. All you have to do is create customer. You select that in blue. And then you'll get this. You'll enter the first and last name, whatever information that you want to get from the customer. I think I've covered all that.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I don't do this part, Ann, and I think it's going to be so invaluable.
It is invaluable. The fortune's in the follow-up, and this is worth a fortune to me because this makes follow-up so easy. So all that information is now in Square. You see, it also adds it to the sale. So you also have information about what that customer purchased. When you run your report, it's going to give you the time of the sale. It's going to list the name of the person that purchased those strips. And you're going to know exactly, from every time that customer came back to you, what they bought. So notice that under groups below phone number, it says reachable. That's because this is now a customer you can contact. If the information appears correct, then you can X out of this screen. So if you get a customer who's buying one strip and they're paying cash and they refuse to get information, maybe you can manage, maybe they got a name tag on, maybe you can get managed, well, I'd like to know who I've met, and at least you can get a name. I don't know, I'll take whatever I can get. I try to get the most I can get, but this is where you will get that information. So you can X out of this screen then, and then it's going to take you right back to the charge screen. And what are you going to do? You're just going to charge it. All you did was attach that customer to that sale. So there's the drop down. Now you can see the drop down says Jane Doe, and there's the drop down. That's Jane Doe's purchase. So click on the blue charge amount button, and then again, that's the default. It's not going to ask you for a payment type for charge. Once you tap on the blue charge button from the previous screen, the payment type screen is showing up, and this is what it looks like. If the customer is paying with a credit or debit card, just swipe it or chip it. If the customer is paying with cash, select the amount tendered. And so there's a 4106 sale. If they give you a 50, you're going to be so happy when you see that that the next screen says amount tendered, and then the screen after that tells you how much you owe in change. Makes it so much quicker. For any of the other payment types listed, just click on it and enter the information requested. Easy peasy. See up there where it says how much change out of 50?
And nobody wants to have to do math.
No, I don't. And I don't want to be an idiot and get the change wrong. So Square calculates this, and I guess I've covered all that. And you can send the customer their receipt. There you go. Just you can send it one way or another. Okay. So now you're ready to check out your next customer. Oh, but I would be doing you a disservice if I said that customers don't fully check out and then decide they want something different, or they come back later and say they want to exchange one strip for another. And then you're going, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do that. I can't stand here and read a tutorial on how to do that. And so I better tell you how to do that. If there's a price difference, you need to record that. Plus you need to refresh your inventory with the changes. So there's a couple of things that have to happen here for this. I mean, this conceptually can happen, but there's things that you have to record to make it clear. So to issue the first thing you want to do is issue a refund. So go to transactions. Again, we're in the main point of sale app menu. It's in the dark gray at the left, and we got there with the 3 horizontal bar icon. You can see that down at the bottom. Click on the 3 horizontal bar icon. Checkout is at the top. You can see where settings is all, we went through there a bit. That's kind of down towards the bottom, right above support. But the third one down is called transactions. So when you're going to issue a refund, you need to go to the transactions menu in the main POS app menu. And from there, click on the transaction that you wish to issue a refund for. So that's the main menu on the left there, and on the right is what it's going to look like when you're looking for the transaction that you need to change. Tap on Issue a Refund at the top and provide a new receipt if the customer desires. So you select the transaction that is relevant and then issue a refund, okay? Another screen will appear asking if you want to restore the refunded items to your inventory. And so you want to do that if you're using Square to track your inventory. And I love that about it. Not sure I included that. I didn't. But it will show up. That'll be the next thing that'll show up. So customer follow-up, part 1. So that's as easy as it is to give a refund. You just go to transactions, find the right transactions, issue a refund, and do it over. That's the way I do it. So if you captured your customer's information during checkout, I talked to you about that, Square saved it for you. Now let's say you want to do follow-up. Go to the main point of sale app menu and select customers. Then click on the word customers above, and that's in blue there at the top of the main screen. And a list of all the customers you've entered along with all the information you've collected about them will appear. Customer information is stored both in the point of sale app and in the dashboard. So capturing information, I don't know, maybe I should go back there. No, maybe you guys got that. It's just a list. It's a report you can run of all your customers. Capturing information from leads. So this is even without Square marketing. You've still got a list of all the people that you've sold to. And if you want to go back and get a report of transactions, you can do that too. Capturing information for lead slips. So the Square POS app captures information on customers to whom you sell, but you can also get information from lead slips. Simply go to the online Square dashboard, and you can get there from the POS app and select customers from the left-hand menu. Then go to but most likely you're going to get this in a, whatever you were using to, maybe a drawing container, the lead slips. You're most likely going to be doing this at home on your computer. Go to the blue Create Customer button on the right there and enter the same customer information, enter what you have, and you'll likely have a lot of the same information that you had when you made a sale. However, you may have information that, they want to keep informed, or they want to have a Facebook party, or they'd like to have a nail bar or whatever. So using the import and export button, you can also import customers to Square from a spreadsheet or export them from Square to a spreadsheet. So that's important to know if you are coming from another direct sales organization, perhaps, and you have a list of, certainly not a competitive nail business organization, but say you were selling something else and you want to let your customers know that you have moved to another organization and you're allowed to do this by the company you're leaving, you can simply import those customers into Square from a spreadsheet. Or you can export them to a spreadsheet if you want to, do some checking off of a Christmas card list or whatever you want to do. So Square Marketing, tell you a little bit about Square Marketing. For a monthly fee of about $15, it does go up as your customers go up, but I don't think it goes up till after about 500 customers. So, if you're getting started out, you can go a long ways for $15 a month. It's a great program for following up with your customers and your leads, and it's ultra easy because you don't have to enter customer information in a separate program after you've made a sale. The only time you have to enter information is if you're entering it from a lead slip. Square reports. You can run all kinds of Square reports in Square. My favorites are sales, item sales, sales by date, and sales by date range. I run these reports from my computer on my Square dashboard. If you want to see how you're doing on any given day in real time at an event, you can also view a portion of your sales report, not the whole thing, in the POS app. And that keeps me motivated, So to do that, you go to your device and you click on the 3-bar icon. Oh, darn it. You click on the 3-bar icon again. To pull up the POS main app menu and select reports. Then select sales. So you can be, anywhere, maybe you're in the middle of the day, maybe you're at the end of the day and you want instant feedback. How'd I do? And you select sales. And you can pull up this report to see how what your sales figures are at any point in time. So as Kelly was saying, in the end of the day or end of the period report, yes, you can see what were your best sellers, what was your best time of the day. But sometimes you feel like, oh gosh, it seems like it's been really busy. And you pull up this report and it's like, oh crap, it wasn't that busy. Or sometimes you think, oh, it was kind of slow. And you pull up this report and it was like, well, no, it wasn't that slow. It was actually pretty good. Also, this report will give you your average sale. So you can see here on the graphic to the right, the average sale was $34.92. That means in this particular, I think this was a day, on this particular day, I had some people that maybe bought a set of French, or I had some people that just bought one to try. It doesn't worry me. They'll be back. I'll talk to them. I'll hear from them again. But anyway, click on the 3-bar icon on the bottom left to pull up the POS app menu and select reports and select sales. And then you can see what your sales figures are at any time. There's plenty more to see on your online dashboard. And you can see right there to the right where it says View in Dashboard, on the right-hand graphic, that will give you something that you can view in the dashboard and that you can actually download to create a printout. But you have to do that from the dashboard. So that's where I log into my computer. So when you log into your Square dashboard and select sales from the main dashboard menu, be sure you're in the reports section of the sales menu, underlined in blue at the top. So there's reports, and this says item sales. And that's where you want to be, because you want to know how many items you sold, what categories they were in, the works. This is a very important report. Then instead of sales summary, select item sales, the fourth category down on the list. This will give you an item by item summary that you can download into a spreadsheet and sort any way you want. To download your item sales to a spreadsheet, go to the export drop down on the right. So you can see where there's on the very right there, we are in item sales. We're in sales in the main dashboard menu. Then we're in reports. Then we're in item sales in blue. That's all there on the left. Then we go over to the right. We've got the date that we're looking at. In this case for me, it was 12/19. And then you're going to go over under export to the drop down and select detail CSV from the drop down and hit enter. If your computer is like mine, the CSV file will automatically download to your default spreadsheet program. If not, you'll have to look at your computer's instructions for downloading a CSV file to a spreadsheet. But mine automatically downloaded to, I have Apple, so mine automatically downloaded to Numbers. And I would think if you have Microsoft, yours would very easily download to Excel. Before you download your sales report, so you want to select the date or date range that you wish to see reported. Often it'll be the day that you're selling, but it doesn't have to be. You could be doing this at the end of the year. So to do that, you go to where the date is and you click on the drop down, and it will let you choose today's date, but you can change it to any date you want. See here, I've chosen January, December 2018 to December 2018. Square allows you to easily select date ranges this week, this month, last month, this year, last year. And you can also go to the bottom of the screen to the start and end boxes and select custom date ranges. See down there at the bottom where it says in gray, start and end. So you can get a period, whatever period of time you can, however green you are, you can go crazy with this. But the place you'll find it is in sales, reports, item sales. And then this is what it will download and kind of look like. This is what it looks like for me in the Apple program called Numbers, which is the equivalent of Excel. And as you can see, gives me the date on the far left, gives me the time of the sale, and I've already told you why the time of the sale is important to me. It helps me group sales and know which sales were to which customer because it was made at the same time. It shows me what I sold, both in terms of the name of the product and then or the category of the product, so I can sort that any way I like. It shows me the quantity. You have to be kind of careful there. Make sure that you watch for twos. Regular could be taken out of there altogether because all the sales are going to be regular, the way I do this anyway. The why is that gone from my head? The SKU, there you go, is listed and the price is listed. And there's just a jillion other things. I had to take out all kinds of columns. The other thing that you're going to see is discounts, and that would be your one free items and any other discount amounts that you've put in. It's also going to show you net sales after your discounts. It's going to show you the amount of tax collected. It's going to show you the device name, your tablet or phone name. So this comes in handy if you are working with several people and somebody makes a mistake. You want to know what their device name is. If you're not keeping a paper record, if you have the device name, that tells you who, my phone is Ann's iPhone. Bob's iPad is Bob's iPad. But if you name the device, you'll know who made the sale. Then you can sort by any number of categories and see what percentage of your sales comprised each category. And you can do this just about any way you want. You can do this for an event, you can do it for a month, a week, a year, whatever. You can sort by date and time to see a record of each sale. So that's where the date and time comes in. And notice here on this graphic that each buy 3 get 1 sale includes the name and category of the one free item. Look down the device name column, and that is the second one from the left. And in this particular situation, some of the sales were taken on my iPhone and some on Bob's iPad. And in that situation, it's not that Bob was making a bunch of sales, is that I was trying to familiarize myself with being comfortable on both my iPhone and the iPad in terms of taking sales. But that's an example of what I mean about how you can tell who took the sales, you know, which ones were part of which sales. Is somebody, you know, accidentally giving out nail art glitter and charging $12 for a glitter? You know, crazy things can happen. Okay. No, that's not it. Maybe it's saying I'm sick of you anyway. That's weird. Escape. So, is this everything? Unfortunately not, but it's pretty much everything I'm going to talk about. Square has lots more to offer, including locations. Locations are a system whereby multiple stylists can sell together and track sales of the personally owned strips of each in one place so all can see what was sold. It's a little bit complicated though. Modifier sets is a system whereby multiple stylists can sell together and ensure they don't forget to track the personally owned strips of each by requiring that the name of the strip owner is attached in one click to the sale before the sale is recorded. In other words, when you say that Jane Doe bought a set of Hollywood Hills, you can set up Square in a modifier set for it to list, let's see, who worked together. Anne and Joanne and Betty and Sue. So it will say Hollywood Hills, and the next button you have to click before you can go anywhere is to click on who owned that strip. This is locations is a little bit more complicated, but modifier sets is easy. So this is what it looks like. You set it up in the main menu of the Square dashboard under items. Right next to the item library, there's a thing called modifiers. And this is it, strip owner. And this is what I use my Color Street location for because it doesn't identify anything with me personally. It's a generic Color Street location. And this could say Anne, it just says Anne and other right now, but it could say Anne, Betty, Sue, and Janet, or whatever. And apply to items. I would apply that to all items, and then it would appear as I just told you that it would. And it's as simple as clicking on the stylist's name, and it goes really quick. When you run your Square reports, the stylist who owns each strip is identified. Oops. And if each stylist uses a different named device to make the sales, for instance, Anne or Anne's iPhone, you'll be able to tell who made the sale. So more on this if desired. Seriously, I'm telling you, look into Square marketing. I've told you how to get the customer information in there. Simple, quick, and easy. You can market Square to other business owners on your Square receipt and earn $1,000 in free processing for both you and them if they sign up for Square. Square marketing, even gives you, I get emails from Square Marketing giving me ideas for marketing. Before Christmas, I didn't realize it was getting as close as it was, but I got a X number of days before this. I know it was before Thanksgiving. X number of days before Black Friday. Send out something to your customers. It was like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. So it sends you out reminders. So you can make money through Square. You can earn free processing yourself through Square. Basically, you can sign up for a 30-day free trial of Square Marketing and see how easy it is to follow up with your customers. Then after that, like I said, it's about $15 a month. And, what I would say is don't sign up until you've collected information on some customers or some leads in your Square account. You don't want to spend that first 30 days when you don't have anybody in your account. You want to spend that first 30 days using Square Marketing to your advantage. So get some customers' names collected. You don't have to be part of Square Marketing to capture customer names. You can certainly run them out on a spreadsheet and contact them that way. So get a few people in there and then start using Square Marketing. It goes out in pretty much a similar form to Constant Contact. And you can put pictures in there. You can, you can create your own banner headliner that gives you some branding. It's amazing. I love it. So what's the value of Square? It's fast and easy in terms of customer checkout, great inventory management, great tax reporting, great sales analytics, and the potential for great customer follow-up. And my friends, I believe that is it.
And that was amazing. I can't imagine how long that took you to put together. I love that it has every single detail. So I'm sure as people are going through, they're going to be able to reference this recording and watch your great tutorial. And even those that, like me, that already use Square, I got something out of it. I really think it's just brilliant to keep track of customers on. It's just, and I haven't been doing that. How many have gone to waste because I haven't tracked them? But anyway, I'll quit talking to see real quick if anybody that's on live with us right now, if they have any questions for you.
I actually had a question. The cash drawer part, like where I didn't see that. I was looking at my phone on that. By the way, this was all excellent information. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I loved it.
Which part were you saying again?
Where you were keeping track of your cash.
Oh, the cash management.
Cash management, yes. I didn't see that option on my phone. Was it under settings?
Oh, you're in the point of sale app.
Yes.
I think you need to be on the Square dashboard for that.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it there either because I kind of logged in to see. Okay, so then where do I go?
Just a second here. Let me pull it up again.
Sorry, account settings.
What? That's not it.
And while you're looking at that, I'll tell you guys one thing. Sometimes people are like, oh, I'm not going to run my cash sales through Square if they're just giving me cash, but then it really will screw up your inventory. And it's nice to see at the end of the day if your cash is what it should be. So even if somebody's paying with cash, not a credit card, don't forget to still run it through.
Exactly. No, I've run that through Square as well. Like if they paid me through Apple Pay or through my bank, the Chase Quick Pay, I'll go there and enter it through there so that it's all in one place. And I'm not having to look, but I definitely have to get better at recording stuff.
This just makes it easy.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it the hard way. Cash management.
Sorry, I was really curious about that. That's really the only question I have. Was that one?
Okay, so that's going to be in. We are in the setting up of the POS app. Okay, it is in the POS app. So you are going to go down to this, to the three horizontal bar icon.
Okay.
So you're going to be in payment types, or I guess, I don't know if you have to be in payment types. Where was I above here? No, just get on the three bar icon and go to settings,
Right.
three bar icon, so that you can see settings. Click on settings. So
Okay.
do you have you may have a different tablet or phone than I have. It may look different to you
On my iPhone. Let's see.
on your iPhone.
Yeah.
So somehow you should have this that is up on the
Right.
screen now.
Yep.
Do you have that?
Yep.
Then go right here to cash management.
Oh yeah. See, now I do not have that option. That's interesting.
You don't?
No, I don't. Unless I need to update the app. Yeah, that's funny. I have
Oh.
payment times, taxes, signature and receipt, tipping, offline, employment management, customer management, but I don't have cash management. That's
I
interesting.
wonder if you have to go into your settings somewhere and check to have that on or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's okay. I can look into it.
Yeah, there is a place to have it on or off, and I think when I took this picture, it was off. But it still should be there as an option. And you know what? I'll tell you what. Square is if you are a Square customer, they're very helpful.
Yeah, this is amazing. I appreciate you taking the time to go through all this.
No problem. I went through it the hard way. I'm happy to share. Try to make it easy for someone else.
Good. Okay, I'll look into that.
Anybody
Yeah.
else have a question or?
It's 11:15 here in Indianapolis. I'm super tired. So
I
thank
have a
you.
question about modifiers, Anne.
Oh yeah.
Can you do a modifier? Let's say you're doing an event with multiple people and you're trying to track who the lead would go to versus the nail strip, who it belongs to. Can you do a modifier so that just each receipt can put a name next to it?
Mm.
Have you ever done something like that? Because I wouldn't want, if you and I were doing an event together and we were logged into my Square account, I wouldn't want to be contacting the people that are your customers.
Exactly. And
So I was just wondering how, you don't.
And that's where, Kelly, and I think probably others, I didn't even discuss locations here because I've gotten away from locations where we all log into one account.
Mm-hmm.
And this way, the way modifiers works is you see Ann, so Ann, Betty, Jane, and Sue, or Ann, Kelly, Stacy, and Lynn. Those would show up as a box that you click. So you click on Hollywood Hills, Kelly, Belize Bellini, Kelly, another strip, Ann, and another strip, Stacy. So it wouldn't be a matter of a lead. It would be a matter of the device name, not the modifier set. The modifier set is going to track whose strip it was.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious if you could do it once per receipt versus once per item, but I'll just play around with that.
You can't do it once per receipt that I know of, but device name, everyone usually has a different device name anyhow.
Right, if you're all logged into the same account.
No, you don't even have to be.
Oh, okay.
You don't even have to be. This really, that's why I say I've gotten away from locations. As long as you have everything, your device name on everything, you're not picking up somebody else's device name.
Right.
Yeah. So, but locations was kind of complicated. I did try, I'm not getting into locations here because I tried it and I decided it was more trouble than it was worth.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions for Anne? We've
Well,
got a
sorry
lot of
to
thank
draw
yous.
some-
Yeah. A lot of thank yous on the chat, so that's so nice.
Yes. Okay, good.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I will, this recording will probably take a few hours to load, but you'll eventually find it in the unit section of the Nailionaire page, so you can reference back to all this amazing information. And thank you again, Anne, for taking the time to put together such a fabulous presentation on Square.
Well, thank you for having me, Kelly.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks, Anne.
You're welcome.